بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, honorable Hujjaj, Huffaz, our viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. كيف حالكم? Alhamdulillah. Beloved brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, in the next 8 days, inshallah, the blessed month, our guest of Ramadan is upon us. May Allah permit us to enter the month of Ramadan. I thought this evening, as I was reflecting on the time that we are in, I asked myself, how did the pious predecessors prepare for this month? You know, the great giants that preceded us, how did they prepare for Ramadan? What were their preparations? I'm sure in our homes, I mean, the women maybe have given us already what we must purchase, you know, ingredients, all of those physical preparations have started, but the preparation of the heart. And so I found, you know, that Ibn Rajab, rahmatullah alayhi, mentions in Lataif al-Ma'arif that Imam Abu Bakr al-Bakhi, rahmatullah alayhi, al-Balkhi mentions, listen to his words, he says, Shahru Rajab, Shahru Zar, that the month of Rajab is the month in which you sow your seeds, you plant your seeds. So remember, in the month of Rajab, it was a sacred month. We were not permitted to fight, to argue, forbidden. And then he continues, وَشَهْرُ شَعْبَانِ شَهْرُ السَّقِلِ الزَّرْعِ. And the month of Sha'ban is the month in which you water those seeds. وَشَهْرُ رَمَضَانِ شَهْرُ حَصَادِ الزَّرْعِ. And the month of Ramadan is the month in which you reap the harvest from that planting. That in the month of Ramadan, it's when you get to experience all of my little efforts. And I watched my tongue, I didn't fight. In Sha'ban, I asked Allah to forgive me. I asked others to give me maaf. I did all of that. And Imam Abu Bakr, rahmatullah alayhi, says, and in Ramadan, you get to experience the fruit of that as you are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is narrated that the Sahaba, even as Hafidh was making the dua, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they had a habit that for 6 months prior to Ramadan, they would make dua, Ya Allah, permit me to enter Ramadan. For 6 months preceding Ramadan, Ya Allah, permit me to enter Ramadan. And for 6 months succeeding after Ramadan, they say, Ya Allah, accept what I did in Ramadan. This is how sacred the month was. So Ramadan is a week away, my dear brothers and sisters. And when I look at what the Salafus Salihin did as they prepared, I find that they prepared 3 areas: their bodies, their minds, and their hearts. This was 3 areas that they specifically prepared. They prepared their bodies because their bodies would now be put to the test. It will have to fast, which of course means you're going to become weaker, you go without food. And also, the body has to make extra salah. So if I had to hypothetically, you know, or a fatwa was passed, you must make 20 raka'at tonight. I don't even know if you'll get 1 saf for that. Because the nafs isn't maybe ready. So they used to prepare their bodies that, right, get my nafs ready, you are going to make extra salah in Ramadan. That is the body. And then the mind, subhanAllah, I was so impressed when I was researching earlier today. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum and the Salafus Salihin, this is a lesson to myself and to everyone in the same boat. They used to prepare their minds, especially people who have very busy minds. Before Ramadan, they'd start cutting off that which occupies the mind. Because they need to open up the space in their mind for the needs of Ramadan. And some great imams, they would even a week or a few days before Ramadan, they'd instruct, you know, that we are no longer going to handle administration. Suspend all mail, as the teaching says. for I will get to that after Ramadan. But the mind must no longer be occupied. So for many of us that lead very busy lives, career-wise, etc., start preparing that mind must get that space for tadabburul Quran, the reflection of the Quran. And that is the third point. They would prepare their hearts for the month of the Quran. For Allah has declared Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran, that this month is the month of the Quran. And if you look at some of the tradition, Sufyan al-Thawri rahmatullah alayh, radiallahu anh, he says that he would stop all other acts of ibadah when it comes to Ramadan and focus solely on the Quran. And Malik bin Anas radiallahu anh, he would teach, he was a teacher as well, imam and teacher. And he'd suspend all of his teaching, all of his classes, and focus on the Quran. So we find from this, my dear brothers and sisters, that the pious predecessors prepared for Ramadan holistically. Our preparation is sometimes just maybe financial, just maybe in the house. Did you get enough dania for the soup? Did you, these very practical things. Did we get the samosas and whatever else? Is that uitgesort? Because it's a week away, I'm pretty sure the homes are preparing. Do you have your samosas? Everyone's smiling in the masjid. We are all part of this. But the Salaf al-Salihin, they prepared their minds, their bodies, and their hearts for Ramadan. So what do we have to do for the next week, inshallah? Reminded to myself. First thing, the heart's increasing tawbah. We're increasing tawbah because we clean the heart, because that heart a week from now must be ready for the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the bodies, I was so impressed. I was reading some of the teachings of Shaykh rahimahullah, and he had a habit that before Ramadan he'd start eating less in preparation for Ramadan. And he said, I eat less because I don't want to be lazy. My body mustn't be lazy for salah. And I know the tradition in our community is, go and eat as much takeout as possible before the Passover. Subhanallah, may Allah forgive us. We think, okay, we can't eat in the daylight 2 weeks from now, so right, let's have something. But look at what the pious predecessors did. They started easing up on their eating. If I could use the term dieting even, eating less because their bodies must become accustomed to this. Because their bodies must be ready for the Taraweeh, for the Qiyamul Layl. So my dear brothers and sisters, let us prepare, and inshallah the last point, the Quran. Let us start this week already, inshallah. Increasing our daily amount. Sometimes it's quite challenging to go the day before Ramadan from reading maybe just a page or Surah Yasin only, and Tabarak maybe, to suddenly a juz in a quarter. It can be challenging. You sort of like really get your nafs in check. So you can start, inshallah, this week already, and I can start increasing our tilawah, because as we learn, the Salaf al-Salihin, they read a lot of Quran. I was so impressed, and I thought, subhanAllah, Allah granted them such barakah in time. Some of them did 2 khatams a night. Reading, some did 3 khatams during the day and 2 khatams in Taraweeh. Imagine, the barakah of time and their commitment to Quran. And these were great scholars who even said, I will not even teach now. I'm going to focus on the Quran. So as we prepare, inshallah, for Ramadan, let us increase, let us start listening more to the Quran. Let us start reading, inshallah, increasing our reading. So 1 week from now, inshallah, I think Monday night next week, inshallah, is our first Taraweeh. Likelihood is quite great. But our first Taraweeh is next week, Monday evening. Our hearts are ready. We come, Hafid was saying to me, he's excited already. I said, inshallah, know your list, my brother. Inshallah, be ready for us. Because we are all excited for this month. And may Allah permit us to be of those who will be forgiven in Ramadan. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. My dear brothers and sisters, may you have a beautiful week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.